Hi guys, welcome back. So I'm quite excited about today's video. This was actually a request by one of my best friends and it's something that I have been working on for a little while anyway, or trying to like get right in my routines. I was like, now is like the perfect time to do this. So today we're going to be looking at how you can help to conceal your dark circles. These little baggies under the eye that like are the bane of like 90% of women's lives. If you don't get dark circles, then I don't think we could be friends because I would hate you, basically. But yeah, that's what we are going to be doing today. So yeah, if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and without further ado, let's take a look. Yes, as I said, today's video is very much going to be about concealing them. However, I have done a full blog post on how to manage and conceal them, so I will link that below for you. That has so much more information, so I go into detail about what are the different causes of under eye circles. So it could be things like, it could be genetic, it could be age related, it could just be lack of sleep, lack of hydration, anything like that. So it could be any of those causes, and if you know what's kind of causing them, then it's gonna kind of give you a better idea of how to manage and conceal them, because you'll then know what kind of ingredients you need to have in your skincare or like your makeup products, and you kind of know how you need to actually manage and combat your dark circles rather than just concealing them. But that post goes into all of those details, so the causes, the ingredients you need, it goes into more details about like products that I recommend, steps to take, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out if you want a little bit more information. But today I'm just going to be going through kind of like showing you what my routine is for concealing these little bad boys. That's what we're going to be doing. Just so to give context as well, my main kind of like cause of dark circles tends to be lack of sleep right now, and that's obviously not going to be going away anytime soon. So yeah, I'm not sleeping very well because I'm getting up to go to the toilet quite a lot, but also lack of hydration. I've never been great at keeping myself hydrated or like drinking water. It's something that I have gotten a lot better at, but you can definitely tell with like the under eyes, like I get very dry under there. It needs like, it's always dull, and it's always just like, it's just not very nice under there. So yeah, those are like my two main issues. So a lot of the ingredients that I choose to have in my products, a lot of like the makeup things that I use are very much the ones I've chosen to combat those particular areas. You may have like slightly different causes, in which case check out that blog post because I do talk about the different ingredients and products that will help you if that's the case as well. So yeah, let's rewind in time, take all of this off, and we will go through my steps. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. And then the other thing that I wanted to just kind of talk about in terms of a kind of concealer, so there's a product that I have been using that I don't know why I keep it in its box. I don't keep anything else in a box, but this one apparently I keep in its box. But I tend to use this on days where I'm not wearing makeup and I look at myself and I'm like, oh my god, I look so tired, I just need a little something. Or if I'm having a really like no makeup day and I can't be bothered to go through all of the steps, then I tend to default to this. So this is the Garnier BB Roll-On. It's so good. I kind of got it and was like, I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't really like expecting a lot because it uses the word miracle, and I was just like, yeah, but it's a 5-in-1 daily moisturiser, and the idea behind this is that it hydrates, reduces the appearance of dark circles and bags, it conceals signs of fatigue, and smooths fine lines and illuminates. And it is just like this little product here. It's like I've got a little roller ball, so you can see here, and you just kind of like roll it onto the hand, so you can see it's tinted, so it helps to conceal. And then I just use my ring finger and nicely kind of like blend that into the skin. I think this is a really nifty little product for days where you're just like, if you're one of those people that doesn't like to wear a lot of makeup, or you know, you have a lot of no makeup days, anything like that. If you're a new mum and you just don't have the time, which I feel like I'm going to be in about 3 months time, then I think this is a really nifty little product. So I would highly recommend that. I really like it. It really surprised me. Okay, so moving on to my actual kind of like routine of how I conceal my dark circles. So the first thing that I do is use an eye cream, and the one that I tend to use in the mornings is this one. So this is from Origin, so it's a little bit pricey and it's tiny. It looks tiny for the price, but oh my god, this is so good. This is their Ginseng Refreshing Eye Cream to brighten and depuff on the go. So the idea behind this is it's a refreshing cream, it brightens and depuffs as it says. But what I really like about this is it's got vitamin C in it, so it really helps in terms of that brightening, which is why I like using it in the mornings rather than as like an evening one, because I just feel like in the morning I need something to help brighten it, I need something to help kind of really condition it and refresh, and this is exactly what this does. So what I tend to do is just pop, it comes with a little sponge, so you can either use the sponge to apply and dab in. I'm not a massive fan of the sponge, to be honest, so what I kind of like prefer to do is just kind of squeeze a little bit out onto my ring finger, so tiny little amount, and just dab that. I'm holding too many things and it's really awkward. Into just like that under eye area with my ring finger, just like nice and gently, and then I do just kind of take it over the top of the eyelid as well, but I just make sure I do like this little middle bit. I'm not giving you the finger, I'm sorry. Like this bit right in your inner corner here, because this will tend to be like your darkest part. And under, and like I said, I just take it over the top as well, because I feel like I don't ever use any kind of moisturiser on the top of my eyelids, so this is just a really good way to do that. And I just do this for both eyes, obviously. And it is just like a tiny little amount. So although that little tube, I think it's about £17. So it sounds quite expensive, especially when you see how like small it is. I feel like this is going to last really well, and since I've been using that, I have noticed a massive difference in terms of like the brightness of my under eyes and also the condition of them as well. So I've found that like a lot of the time the under, like the texture under my eyes has been quite dry and quite bumpy, but since I've been using that, the texture has really improved, the brightness has improved, and overall it's doing a really good job. So I really like that. It's a great one. Okay, so after I've done my eye cream, I will do my normal moisturiser. So this is just the Conceal priming moisturiser. Always put your eye cream on before your moisturiser. I've seen like lots of videos and skincare routine where they like do their moisturiser and then their eye cream. I'm like, but how does your eye cream get to your eye cream area? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And like when you kind of look at like skincare gurus like Carolyn Herons, I think it is, her name has gone out of my brain, thanks baby brain. Then like she also says a similar thing, like you always put your eye cream on first, because otherwise there is a barrier between your eye product and the under eye area, and it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, always do your eye cream first and then your moisturiser. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is just apply my normal everyday primer. So this is the Clarins SOS primer, and I actually use this in the shade 02 Peach, which is kind of perfect for under the eyes because that sort of colour brightens. But in terms of like why I tend to use this primer, it's a little bit more on like the product itself. It tends to kind of like really blur the pores, and it really evens out my skin tone in terms of colouring. And I am doing a full like blog post on colour correcting at some point over May Madness, so make sure you kind of look on the blog for that, because I go into a lot more detail. But peach primers for like lighter skin tones like myself are really good at adding like some extra kind of like glow, and if you're a little bit more cool toned in terms of your skin tone and colouring, then it adds a little bit more warmth as well. So I really like using kind of peachy primers, and also it's a blurring one. We all like blurring, so just kind of take that over everything. Okay, now comes like a step that I feel like scares a lot of people, and that is colour correcting. So I have here the Urban Decay Naked Skin Colour Correcting Fluid, and this is in the shade Peach. So one key thing when obviously combating or trying to conceal your dark circles is you get it is a lot of colouring, so it's a lot of purpley bluish tone. And what you can do, and what I definitely used to just do, was just like do my normal concealer and hope for the best, and you'd still get some of that colouring coming through. What I have started doing very more recently, and I found this makes a huge difference, is by actually using a colour corrector under the eye to try and counteract a lot of that purple or blue tone before you put like any of your other makeup on, and it really does make a difference because it just evens out that tone and it just helps. And the main colour that can like help with lighter skin tones for myself is like peaches. For darker skin tones you want to go for like a more of a deeper orange. Effectively with the colour correcting you're looking on the opposite side of the colour wheel. That's what you want to go for. But yeah, peach is definitely kind of what you want to go for if you're lighter skin tone like me. Orange if you're darker skin tone. So I have been using this, again, a little bit more on the pricey side, and you can get cheaper colour correctors out there that will probably work just as well, but this is one that I'm really enjoying right now. And it says that it optimal blurring, illuminating and colour neutralising. And like if you're like me and you're tired, you want to illuminate under there. So it comes with just like a little doe foot, and you apply it just like you kind of would a concealer. And this is where I think people get a little bit scared because they look at this colouring and they're like, what on earth? You don't have to obviously use this much. You can start with a little and then build it up because it is also very buildable. And then you can either use your finger. I'm just going to use my sponge and just lightly dab that in, making sure I do go into that inner corner. And it suddenly looks a hell of a lot less scary. Obviously the darker tone that you use, the darker colour corrector that you use, the more kind of blending you might need. But it does completely kind of start to like take away so much of that purple tone, so much of that blue tone. And it just helps to kind of really get your skin and your face and your eyes ready for the rest of your base and your makeup. It's just a bit like that. You want to try and neutralise those colours before you then add your makeup on top of it, because it's just going to really help to conceal it and make the under eye area look a lot nicer. Now we are just going to add in our normal base, so I'm going to just pop on my IT Cosmetics CC cream, and again we're just going to like zoom through a lot of this. Okay, so base is on, and then the next thing that you want to do is coming onto the concealer part, which I know is the part that people kind of tend to go to first with trying to combat those dark circles. For me, this is one of the last things you should do. I feel like there's so many more like prep steps that can help you A, make the most of your concealer when you put it on, but B, really help to manage and combat those dark circles in the long run anyway. But obviously it's up to you how much time you have, how many steps you want to incorporate, but this is just what I do. So in terms of the concealer that you want to use under your eyes, I don't ever really use the same concealer for under my eyes as I do like for blemishes or anything like that, because I feel like they're trying to do two completely different jobs. So a concealer for your blemishes is very much trying to get rid of your blemishes. The concealer that you want to use under your eye is to try and combat those dark circles and brighten the area. So the concealer that you want to use under your eyes should in theory be about a shade lighter than your normal skin tone, and I always try and go for brightening or illuminating concealers. This concealers that you want to use on like your blemishes, they should be like your normal natural skin tone. So try and like think about it that way. I always tend to use a thicker concealer for like blemishes and things like that, just for like added extra coverage, and I feel like it needs a little bit more heavy duty. I always try and go for lighter, like just like lighter weight concealers for under my eyes, because I feel like if I put like too many heavy products on, then it starts looking very cakey, very dry, and all that hard work that we've just done is all being like come undone. But yeah, the one that I absolutely love and have used for ages and ages, and I would highly recommend, is the Bourjois Radiance Reveal Concealer. It's very, very budget friendly. The only thing is Bourjois is coming out of the UK, so it's a little bit harder now to get hold of than it used to be. But I've literally just managed to pick this up from Look Fantastic, so I'll link that below. But it's a really, really lovely, lightweight, brightening product. So you can see it's lighter than my normal skin tone, quite a bit lighter. And again, you can either use your finger or a sponge. Depends on how I feel on the day. I feel like I've used quite a lot of products, so I'm going to use a sponge. And we're just kind of dabbing that in, making sure again we go right into that inner corner. I take it up onto my eyelid as well, because I just kind of tend to use my whatever concealer I use for my eyes as my eyelid primer. But we just make sure we kind of focusing that blend on like the main part where I get dark, which is like obviously this inner bit here, because we just really want to brighten that area. Still got like liner on from yesterday that's refusing to come off. Okay, so we can see that that has massively brightened that particular area, and if you weren't to have used the Naked Skin like the colour corrector that we did beforehand, you would probably still see some of that kind of purplish tone coming through, but because we've used that, we've then obviously used our normal base, and then we've used our brightening concealer. It's actually, you've lost, there really isn't much of the dark tone coming through. For me it's mainly just because my eyes are slightly sunken anyway, so it's looking a lot brighter. You're not seeing a lot of that purple or that blue, and you've kind of gotten rid of your dark circles, which is what we all want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the rest of my face very quickly, and then I'm going to come back with a couple more little makeup tips just to help you if you want to try and brighten the area and try and detract from any other kind of darkness around there. So, okay, we are back. So I've not done like a very big eye look or anything today, and that is one of my tips. So if you do suffer still from like really dark circles and you're still seeing some of that like darkness come through, or you're worried, try and avoid using really dark tones in terms of your eye makeup. So try and avoid any kind of like deepy purples or blacks or like dark greys, because it's just going to really emphasize that dark area, especially if you use any of them on the lower lash line. So try and avoid using those types of tones around the lower eye. There's no problem using it on like blended out on like the top lid, but along like that lower lash line, definitely try and avoid them. Don't do what I did, just don't use a black liner on the waterline, because it now doesn't want to come off. So that is one tip. One of my other ones is always make sure you use an inner corner highlight. As I said, this is going to be the darkest part of your eye, and it's going to be the darkest part. It's going to have the most kind of purple and bluish tones from like any kind of under eye discoloration or bags that you get. So always use an inner corner highlight. So you can just use your normal highlight that you used on the rest of your face, or if you have whatever eyeshadow palette you're using, most of them will have some sort of inner corner highlight. So I'm just going to use this one here from this palette. This is probably my favourite. It's from the Colourpop Dream Street palette. So this is a collab they did with Kathleen Lights, and it's the shade Moony. So I just pop it on a little pencil brush, and I just pop that in the inner corner. And it just really helps to add a little bit more brightness and lightness to that particular area. So it's just going to really, it feels like it's a very subtle thing to do, and it is a very subtle thing to do, but it really does help with like that overall look. And that is it. So I hope this video has helped you. As I said, please go and read the blog post that I've done below as well, because there's loads more stuff on there in terms of the ingredients you should be using for your different causes of dark eye circles, like other recommendations of products, different steps that you should take. It has a lot more info in there, so definitely check it out if you're interested. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you do, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye!